The government shutdown. We're joined by conservative commentator Lenny McAllister. He's also a former congressional candidate. He joins us from Pittsburgh. Lenny, can you tell us more about the plan the Republicans were offering up on Thursday?
I think that what the Republican conference wanted to do was to provide an opportunity to have a window where the president can basically get the debt increase, the increase to the debt limit that he was looking for, while at the same time allowing the Republicans to save face, to be able to hold firm in regards to what they stood for when it came to that small faction of Republicans shutting down the government. They were basically trying to have their cake and eat it too, and for a second it looked as though they might be able to get that, but perhaps the president has said, let's hold off on that for just 1 second.
And you were talking about saving face. How much has this damaged the GOP brand, this shutdown?
Well, it all depends. If we're talking about winning elections in 2014, you're still talking about a highly gerrymandered map. So if they're talking to their base, Republicans are going to be energized in many of these red districts. Now, if you're talking about those swing districts where you're looking at 12 to 20 districts where Republicans currently have held on to them but may lose them, at this point in time, this has jeopardized the brand, and there's a possibility that the last 2 years of President Obama's term as president, you may once again have a democratically controlled House of Representatives. You may still have the Democrats in control in the Senate, of course, President Obama in the White House. But at the same time, we're still basically a full year away from the elections. Anything can change, particularly as we see the glitches with Obamacare and the like.
What do you think is going to happen next? I mean, at least it seems as though there's some discussions going on after a period where it didn't seem like either one side was talking this way, the other one talking the other way.
I think the next thing that has to happen is this. You're going to have to see President Obama and the Democrats give something. I think once again, when we start talking about our national debt, we do have to curb spending. I think that maybe we don't delay Obamacare, but there will be some concessions when it comes to Obamacare, considering the high-profile glitches that we're seeing. I also think that we have to move forward and make sure that we're not going with a continuing resolution that's going to have us doing this all over again within another 90 days. Even if we get past November, we can't be doing this again in February or March. We have to pass a budget. And if the Republicans are going to come out of this with a political win, it's going to be with a budget for the next 12 months.
Well, you know, you're talking about short term, and that's an interesting perspective, because I heard somebody from Wall Street today saying that he can't move government bonds right now because nobody wants to touch them because of this constant turmoil and the fact that this threat appears to be real on a default. How much is this damaging Wall Street, would you say, and not only that, the image of the United States?
It is definitely damaging our image globally. But more importantly, when you talk domestically, it's making those that create jobs within the small business sector freeze hiring. That's the problem. We need to have some long-term stability so that those that can hire are able to hire. That was all of the animus and all of the pushback on Obamacare in the first place. The fact that small businesses were afraid of this new health care reform law. We have to make sure that we put a fiscal policy in place for the next 12 months as we're coming out of these negotiations that's going to encourage people to hire, whether it's the large employers, but more importantly, the mom and pop organizations that were hit with the credit freeze when the banks had their crisis in 2008, that are still looking to recover the way Wall Street has recovered since 2008.
Lenny, we're just about out of time, so quickly, how much longer does this go on before there's some sort of resolution?
By Tuesday. I think we'll be done with this by Tuesday,
All
if
right.
not by Monday.
Lenny, thanks so much for your observations. Appreciate it.
Thank you. God bless.